back to another episode of Live with Dow with yours truly. I'm sorry you got disconnected a moment ago. I am trying to connect with my guests. We're having some connectivity issues. But once again, you are live with Dow each and every Thursday, sitting down with a new small business owner. Each and every Thursday, we sit and we talk and we share information about what it takes to be successful in the world of entrepreneurship. It is truly a humbling and honoring experience to be able to sit down with these individuals and talk about what it takes to be successful. I see my next guest is in the room. Just go ahead and hit the request to join button and we'll go ahead and get started. So once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's following, everybody that continues to support this platform, because without you, Live with Dow would not be possible. So everybody that shares my story, share these videos. It's about the small business owners. It's about the guests that sit across from me. Whether they're in person, whether they're online, whatever it may be. I'm trying to create a small business Rolodex of small business owners so that you, my followers, can go up and down my list and see those that I'm following. So tonight is something a little different. Tonight is a life testimony of someone who experienced some trials and tribulations in life. And this is the first time that they are speaking publicly on Instagram about it. So I'm excited to have them on, so that I see that they are in the room. We are going to go ahead and accept them. That share button, let a friend know, tell a friend that this is the platform to be on, so that this testimony may touch you and may have something that resonates in your life. So ladies and gentlemen, the devil tried to stop us, but we are here now. I'd like to introduce to some and present to others someone who has been spotlighted in Hollywood, was a former contestant on season 11 of American Idol, has battled homelessness, has experienced struggles with faith, relationships, fame, and even touched in prison. But he is here to tell his story of how he has recovered and he has triumphed and is an inspiration to many. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Jermaine Jones.
Hello, everyone. What's up, bro? How are you?
What's going on, Brody, man? How's everything?
I'm doing well. Blessed. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Listen, man, I'm glad to have you here. I thank you for taking the opportunity to be able to sit down with me and tell your story. I understand being transparent with your life is not always easy, but it also is the road to recovery for most. So I want to say thank you for taking this opportunity to be here with me, and I'm ready for my guest and myself to hear your story. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me. Thank you for opening up your platform, giving me the opportunity to share in a space where I feel safe. So that's definitely dope, and I appreciate that.
No doubt. So Jermaine, before we get into the interview, man, just go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and anything you want them to know.
Wow. My name is Jermaine Jones. I'm a very multifaceted individual. So it's like, where do I start? Let's start here. Faith-based, grew up in church. That's my foundation. I'm 39 years old. I reside in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So I'm up on the shoreline to the one of the nicer beaches in New Jersey. No pun, Atlantic City, no pun intended. But so yes, that's me, Jermaine Jones, 39, entrepreneur, artist. I have several businesses. That's me.
Yeah, we're going to touch on all of that, man, throughout this interview. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting down with Mr. Jermaine Jones. He's going to speak on his life testimony tonight of the things and struggles that he's been through. So we're just going to support this young man. We're going to put them hearts up. We're going to put them fires up all night long, man, and let him know that we appreciate it. So Jermaine, man, life has been a roller coaster ride for you for quite some time. And speaking to you briefly prior to, this is the first time that you're going to be speaking freely about, your life and where it has been. Is that correct?
Yes, this is my first time really getting into where we're about to go with this conversation because, with the industry and that, there are, things that, NDAs and, gag orders and, there's contracts. So there's a whole lot of legal things that will have you silenced. And with you being silenced, the only narrative out there is the narrative that's being put out there.
Mm-hmm. So take me down the path. Before Hollywood,
Who was Jermaine Jones?
Before Hollywood, Jermaine Jones was an aspiring artist with a gift who wanted to share it with the world. Simple as that. That was it. It wasn't about the fame. It wasn't about the money. It was literally about me sharing my gift. And so, I grew up in church, went to Westminster Choir College in Princeton where I studied music education. So, along with my voice being a gift, I also did my work. I enhanced and cultivated it to get it to the level that it is today. But so I went to school for music education and I just went into performing. I never stepped a day in the classroom. That's a total story. I did some substitute teaching, some motivational speaking in schools, but as far as having my own classroom, no, sir.
Have you always had the love of singing?
I actually was born singing, and a lot of people may think that that sounds, but my mother, was the minister of music, and she's a choir director, and she was directing the choir, and she literally went into labor directing the choir, and I was born literally into music.
So were you the type that just was just around the house all day long, just singing while you're talking? Everything was a song.
Let me tell you how crazy. Ha! Listen, it used to go so crazy that I used to have something like this. I'm talking about like with my first cell phone. This is Jermaine Jones. Leave a message after the tone. And I'm telling you, like, I was singing on my voicemail. Like, people would call me and be like, I really didn't want to talk to you. I just wanted somebody to hear you sing. Like, hang up. Like, so, yes, music has been, and it's so crazy once we get into the journey because such a, um, for a major part of my life, music was a happy space. It was a free space. It was a creative space. It was a space where I felt safe. I grew. Um, and the turn, the
Yeah,
turn.
the turn. We're going to touch on that. So, at what point in your life did you say, you know what, I'm about to step out of this box and I'm about to take my God-given talent to the next level?
Okay. When I was in college, I had a voice teacher. Her name is Lauren Acey. My grandfather, he was Dr. Donald Carey, may he rest in peace. He was my first voice teacher, and was my mentor all the way through, even to being on television. Um, and then like my family, my mother, my aunts, like I have a music family, right? So, um, it has always just been a part of me. And I guess they seen something. So I just started taking voice lessons and I auditioned for Westminster and I was accepted to that college on the day that I auditioned. And while I was up in Princeton towards New York, I was auditioning for shows. And before The Voice was The Voice, it was called The One. And I auditioned for that show and I made it, but it never went anywhere. And then then I just kept auditioning for American Idol. And a lot of people don't know this, but it wasn't just one try. They told me no 5 times. I flew to Minneapolis. I went to Philadelphia. I went to South Carolina. I traveled and they told me no like 5 times. They told me no 5 times. The sixth time I got a yes, and that's when I got my golden ticket. So it was the
So,
perseverance that I knew that what I had was worth it.
so how discouraging was that? Because getting told once, getting told twice, getting told three times. Sometimes we start to have some self-reflection, and we start to get down on ourselves and start to think that maybe this is not the path. Was that your mindset, or did you say, you know what, the more you keep telling me no, the harder I'm gonna keep working?
What it was for me is that the people that were in my life in that season built me up so much and made me believe that this was what I was destined to do in my life. Like, this is my God given gift. Like, this is my lane. Like, so I knew that what I had was worth it. I just had to figure out what it was that was missing. The piece that was missing is what they wanted, and what they're looking for is a package. The way you speak, the way you look, the way you talk, if they can brand you, if you are marketable, it is so many layers to it. It's not just about the music at all.
Got you. So how did you come about American Idol? Was this just because you were season 11, so you watched the
That was
the other season?
that was some years ago. They on like season 20,
What, right,
something
right.
like
So
5, 6.
So it was some time ago. So did somebody kind of put the battery in your back to say, Jermaine, yo, you should go out and try for this, or did you just watch the prior seasons and you say, you know what, this is for me?
I'll tell you that happened. So I used to watch Showtime. Oh, up and you see that the Apollo tonight. So
Talk
my
about, yo, it's
dream.
so funny. I'm not to cut you off, but my daughter is 17, and me and my wife just been putting her on Apollo lately. We've just been sitting back watching it, so it's so funny that you mentioned that. But go ahead.
So I used to watch Apollo and I just wanted to be on TV. I wanted to sing, like literally, like some people get to die not even know what their dream was. As a child, I dreamt of singing on TV and I literally had the opportunity to live my dream at 22, 23 years old. Now, the flip side of that is the downfall. Once you live your dream or what you think what you think you're here on earth to do, and that doesn't work, that fall from grace is paramount. It is like, wow. Because it's like, what do I do now? Like, music was everything I am. Like, I eat it, I breathe it, I sleep it. It is, I get money from it. It's what makes me feel good. It's what gives me status. It is part of and then I don't,
Hmm.
that I never knew that I wasn't okay until I became halfway okay again. I thought I was doing good and I was crashing out.
Crash now. So you said you went to multiple cities to have tryouts for American Idol, and you were getting those here and those there. How much of a financial burden was that? Because I'm sure, were they paying for you to travel to these cities, or was this all on your own?
Now, once you are on the show, you get 13 to 1500 a week, period. But not until. So there are so many rounds before that. So your initial audition, you have to travel to get there. So when I went to Minneapolis, my family paid for my flight, they paid for my hotel, they paid for everything, spending money, everything. So my family's the one that flew me to Minneapolis. And then I, used my money. Me and my friends, even in the car, we drove to Atlanta. We drove to Philly. I auditioned in Philly twice. So like the states I can get to, New York, like where we could drive to local, we would drive to those states, and I flew, to other states. But it's all on your dime until you get to like the top 25. Now, once you get to the top 300 and stuff, and you get to those group rounds and stuff like that, you are put up in a hotel. You do get a stipend to eat and things of that nature. You're just not on payroll yet.
Right. So take me down the path. You get into these audition centers, and you walk in and you see the lines and lines of people, and now finally they call your number to come in and sing. What type of
Mm.
emotions are you going through?
I was weak in the knees at SWV. I'm telling you, like now after we have this interview, if y'all go back and look at some of these videos and put this together, y'all gonna be like, that's true. So when I walked I auditioned in at the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But the celebrity judges um, didn't come to New Jersey. So after I made it past New Jersey, then American Idol flew me to Portland, Oregon. So you'll see me get my golden ticket in Portland, Oregon. But they made me wear the same clothes for my audition, wear all the same things so that they could put the footage together. So
Together.
they flew me to Portland, Oregon, and this is a key part. I sat and met with a private investigator after I got my golden ticket for hours and hours and hours on end, and he knew all of my business. So what truth wasn't disclosed, when we get there, we get there.
Mhm.
So I met with the private investigator. So when I get this golden ticket, I'm thinking you'll even see it. If you see my audition in Portland, Oregon, I'm like, Mom, I made it. I'm ready to like, Mom, you could quit work. We in. Like we are there. Let's
Yeah.
go. I'm glad she didn't quit.
Listen,
Whew.
I'm laughing with you, but I'm not laughing at you because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're going to touch on those things. What was the audition song? Do you remember?
Um,
And I think you're a monkey branch.
okay. Um, don't you remember you told me love me, baby? It was that Superstar by Luther Vandross. That's what it was.
You gave me exactly what I wanted. I knew you was going to drop the king for me. So, tell me the feeling. You said you told mom to quit, but what goes through your mind when they give you that golden ticket? You already said, "Mom, quit. I'm there." Like, what's the emotions like?
It is like you really don't get a chance to really grasp it at the moment because you are literally thrusted into the Hollywood lifestyle. It now comes planes and all these emails and reservations and fake names. Like when we checked into hotels in California and Las Vegas, we checked in under dummy names. Like when they did our flights, we did our flights under dummy names. Like we didn't even have our real names so that people couldn't have access to us. So it was like you're really, really living like ain't no way. Like I'm in Hollywood, like I'm at Will I Am's listening party. J Lo is giving me a hug. Like, hold on, this can't be. When I seen J Lo, I literally began to sweat. Randy Jackson told me to bring a Reverend towel to wipe the sweat. I was so nervous. My voice was shaking so bad. I mean, Bambi is what I sounded like in my head. I couldn't. I mean, I was so overwhelmed. It was just like, and there's so many moving parts. Like, wow,
So
wow.
how did you maintain? I mean, being starstruck like that at a time. When did the comfort level start to evolve?
Okay, so I maintained with at that time. Marijuana was definitely involved. Alcohol was definitely involved. But then at the same hand, I got my mom and her pastor on the line praying for me. Let's make this make sense. I'm drinking and smoking and doing all of these things, but then I'm praying, and now I'm wondering why I can't. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
I'm lukewarm. I mean, you know what I mean? I couldn't pick a lane. So it never really got. It never really got. I never really got used to it until it was over.
Until it was over. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything pretty much seemed like it was in fast forward because I know there was never really no downtime. You're meeting with
Mhm.
vocal coaches, you're going through preparation, you're going through editing and all these different things. So life was probably just a blur for you at that time.
And it's like we literally, like, I'm in Pine Hill, New Jersey, running to Philly, flying out to California, getting on a Mercedes Benz Sprinter, driving 3 hours to Las Vegas. People are getting cut. Then I'm flying back to Philly. Then they're flying me back to California. Then I'm coming home. And like, there was so much recorded before I made it to the top 25. When they did that big reveal and they brought me out, I had been in California. I had been rehearsing. We all had been knew I was going to, it wasn't no surprise to nobody but y'all. We all
Hmm.
knew. It
Yeah,
was all, it was all.
but like you said, there's things that you have to sign that you can't speak on, things that's already done. We're seeing stuff secondhand, but it's already had taken place.
And the gag orders and the contracts are literally beyond me, right? So you get young people who are impressionable, who you give them, you're telling them like you can win $1 million, you can be on TV, you can get all these brand deals. Like this is, you get all of this, right? But listen, at the cost of what? At the price of what? When you sign those contracts, they say they own your name, your image, and your likeness. So the name that my mother and father gave me, the image that God made me in, and my likeness, they own it. I mean, I literally am still speechless at this point, but they give you 24 hours to sign it. And each one of so you get a merchandising contract, a live contract, and then a contract for your management and the studio contract. So you're getting all these Bell Atlantic phone books, the old school, the Bell Atlantic phone
Hmm.
book sizes.
Hmm.
Um, and they're telling you that you can have your attorney look it over, but these contracts need to be signed within 24 hours. There is no way that a full law firm can effectively look over these contracts within 24 hours to 48 hours. So they tell you that you can have your attorney look over it, you can look over it, whatever the case may be, but it needs to be signed within 24 to 48 hours. And if it's not, then you can't. So, you're just,
Hmm. You just putting your Hancock down. Just signing over your life, not even
your
really
your
realizing.
your whole entire life, your being, like not even, it's so crazy to me, like your being, like I couldn't take a picture, I couldn't walk, I couldn't post, I had to say what they say, wear what they say, wear, sing what they say, sing. And if I don't, No. And if I don't go along and play along to get along, then I'll be blacklisted, which wait till we get to that point. Like, it's so much to the dark side of the entertainment industry that you don't know the cost. I'm telling you, you do not know the cost. And sometimes it is not worth it. Like, people are like, why don't you do it again? The story of redemption. If you only knew.
It's so crazy that it's so misleading, to us common folk, that's not behind the closed doors. And this is what makes people want to go down different avenues of life,
Mhm.
but they don't really understand the total package that it takes to be in entertainment and to be on stage and, all these practices and all that other stuff. So I appreciate you again. I'm going to say it several times for you being transparent, for you being
Oh,
here and being able
thank
to sit
you.
down and talk with us, to give us, the firsthand knowledge of what it looks like behind the scenes. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are live with MDAO, where each and every Thursday I'm sitting down talking to a new small business owner, someone who supports a nonprofit, or someone who has a life testimony. Well, tonight I am with Mr. Jermaine Jones, and he is telling his
Yeah.
story, his path, his journey from Hollywood to homelessness, from prison to recovery to all of that. And I just need you, ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and put them hearts up, put them fires up. Make sure you
Oh,
tap in and you're telling somebody. Tune in right now, because the stories that you're going to get, we haven't even touched the crust of what we're going to be talking about. So, Jermaine, while in Hollywood, did you ever feel as though that you truly belonged?
no. And I'll tell you why not. Because there is no way that you have me meeting with a private investigator, and you know what I had for breakfast last year, and you know everything. When I shot that Ford commercial, the stylist didn't have any of my sizes. So mind you, we're shooting a whole commercial. My clothes are cut up the back with duct tape, safety pin. Ludicrous. Like, I should
That's wild.
never, as an artist, as a talent, I should never have to deal with something like that. With $1 billion brand, like, my clothes don't fit. So, um, and I always felt that I didn't belong, because a lot of people would tell me, we're at listening parties, we're at parties, we're at clubs, we're at events, and people will say there's something about you, like there's something, and I know what it is. It's the Holy Spirit. But I always believed that, what is the use of me continuing to just sing in the church to Mother Mary, who's been here for 100 years, who already got her name on the roll? Why can't I go out into the world and be in the world but not of it? That's the part. But this industry, like, how can one person do 18-hour days? And I'm not joking, with substances, with aid, with steroids. Like, your body is literally crashing. Give you a shot of steroids, and you, no joke, no joke. You say you can't go no more, you're hoarse, your body's weak, go to the doctor. You tired, go to the doctor. Like,
Hmm.
you're a
Hmm.
machine, and you just go, and then they groom you, and you just,
Yeah, that's a traumatic experience. Like I said, just being on this side of the screen and just listening to you, because all we see at home in the living room is the final product.
the
We only
light.
see, yeah, we only see the glitz and the glamour and the reactions and all of that, but we're not seeing what's happening behind the scenes. So so you've been touching on, these NDAs and not being able to speak, and a few things that people are probably asking what's happening. You were dismissed from American Idol, and you're talking about an investigator. Let's touch on that. You were dismissed, even though that you should have been the finalist and been up there, but at some point something came out and you were let go from American Idol. Talk to me.
So, behind the scenes, and I've never told this part, you're going to get it here first. The turn was, after I did Knocks Me Off My Feet, okay, they did the build up and I didn't even know. So my comeback song was what? Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross.
Mhm.
They knew that my mother and father were separated. The next the next time we were supposed to do a song from our birth year, they wanted me to dog my dad out and make it seem like it was something that it wasn't, right? And no matter what my situation is with my dad, I ain't doing it to him, and I ain't doing that to my mom. No matter what my situation is with, well, I'm not doing that to my folks. So because I wouldn't allow them to exploit me and I wouldn't be a puppet, now I'm big, I'm black, and I'm angry. I am coming against the system. They had me fly my mother and my friend out there. They stayed in my suite because they wanted them to come on the stage for the big reveal. Once I made it to the top, I moved to the hotel in the heart of Hollywood. Mind you, my mother and my friend flew out on our dime to stay with me in my suite. They are paying for it. They never told me that as soon as I got to the next level, they were done paying for my suite and I was moving into the hotel around from the theater. So where are my mom and my friend going? They basically said, and I said, I will not go on camera if my folk ain't taken care of. And my mom and my friend was in a hotel room across the studio, around the corner from me, and they were seen home safely. So because I wasn't allowing them to do these things, I was the problem. All I wanted was to be treated fair. So I never belonged. No.
Never belong. So at this time, what's the emotions like? I mean, because I know your mom is like, baby, don't get discouraged. We gonna be all right. You know, keep pushing for your dream. Don't worry about us. You know, we gonna be taken care of. You just do the things that you need to do. What's those emotions like?
It's like, it is very, very overwhelming. And it's overwhelming because once the people who are supposed to be guiding me through this whole process, which is them and the publicists and the managers and all these people, once they turned on me and I'm literally all the way in California with no one, overwhelmed, depressed, anxious, angry, frustrated, disappointed, betrayed. I can continue to go on and on and on. And when I talk about the story, one thing I can say is I'm grateful for the platform of American Idol. I am grateful for the exposure of American Idol. But my story is not the story that you're hearing from these other people on American Idol. And my story is mine. And it's just as real as these fake stories that they're telling you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So once the dismissal came, you know, you've I said in the introduction, you know, you've battled, you know, with the struggles of homelessness and, you know, your faith and relationships. Once the dismissal came, is this where the part of your life started to unravel and spiral, or am I a little bit out of the timeline?
I still, like, even when I think about that disqualification video, like, I had to close my eyes for a second now. I can have the conversation because I did my work, but it doesn't take away from how so I got done performing, and Somewhere Out There was going to be my breakout song. I was going to be in a tuxedo, smoke on the stage, live band with a V. I'm standing at the end of the V with the mic stand. That was going to be the moment. And before America got to see my moment, they used that song and that rehearsal, you know, so production says the executive producers want to speak to you after my rehearsal. I'm like, okay. I walk into the room. It is cameras and all eyes on me. And this was so unfair. People believed that they paid me and I was in on it to allow them to exploit me like that. I would never have been a part of what they did. It destroyed me. It literally destroyed me. Because everything I thought that I was, everything that I was built up on, everything, they took it and
just crushed it,
demolished it. And then I have a song, All Around the World. There was a producer that, I'm not going to say his name only because I don't want to, but there's a producer that is, you know, pretty well known. There was an attorney that was on this. We had put this package together. They had flew me to California, stayed up in a hotel, all of this stuff. The song was recorded. We were supposed to do the video, do all this backing and all this stuff. Everything was stopped. The whole production, everything was stopped. Rough House Records reached out to me. Lauryn Hill was signed to them and everything. Everything was stopped. The only thing I could do was anything that was independent, anything that had to do anything with anything mainstream. I had no access.
Wow. Wow. Talking about a roller coaster ride, talking about, the discouragement of not getting accepted and then getting the golden ticket, then thinking that you're on your way, then to just get put down, get let down, get crushed, get demolished. And now you then went from the pinnacle. Now you're going back down into the valley.
Let me tell you something else, which is key. So when I was in Las Vegas, when they initially disqualified me the first time, I had went home. And you can watch that dismissal too. But the executive producers ended up calling me saying they made a mistake. When they called me and said they made a mistake, I said, Mom, this is a setup. As God is my secret judge on this blessed Thursday, I said, Mom, this is a setup. I said, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to step on faith. And it was a setup like
Wow.
no other.
Wow. Wow. So after all of these phases of your life, things start to go downhill for you. I'm assuming mentally, things start to take a turn. You come back to Jersey, or you come back to the East Coast. What does life start to become for you?
Life is like, okay, I'm going to have my Jennifer Hudson moment, right? I was disqualified from a show. I didn't make it. And then I was in a movie called The North Star. And Jeremiah Trotter, Lynn Whitfield, Keith David, Clifton Powell. I'm talking about some hitters was in this movie. I had a singing part. It's about halfway through. The slaves are running through. It's a period film. It's on Tubi actually. So if y'all want to watch about it, but again, nothing came of that. And so I'm plugging away at this industry, and I'm going to take this mountain down. Right, and off of my money, because when I came home, I had some money from being
Mm-hmm.
on the show. So with my
Mm-hmm.
money, I'm going to go. And every turn, I just started having difficulties, right? So then how am I coping? How am I dealing? How am I working? It goes from weed to then, uppers, cocaine and things that are going to keep you up and going and stuff like that, right? So then it's like, okay, I needed to work. And then I wouldn't even do a show unless I had a handle of vodka in my dressing room to get started. Like I had liquor in my water bottle. Like it would just be, and the disease is so insidious that it's so cunning. It is so baffling that it made me believe that I was all right.
Mm-hmm.
And mental health is real,
Oh, it's
especially in
real.
our community, and we don't address it. Anxiety, depression, PTSD. Like I was going through all of these things, self-medicating.
Mm-hmm.
When I should have sat down and talked to somebody. I always tell people, faith without works is dead. Sometimes prayer ain't enough. Sometimes prayer is not enough. Yes, pray without ceasing, but you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Ladies and
so,
gentlemen,
okay, I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'm not
And
gonna
so
cut you off.
once, once everything started falling apart, and like I'm literally having to miss flights because people are chasing me down, calling me a liar, telling me this and that and the third in the airport. I can't go to the grocery store. I cannot sit down and have a dinner at a restaurant. I literally was getting like, it was like, that part was so unfair. Like people, TMZ is running to my mom's job and my friend's house and my grandma's house. Like it was so crazy, the whirlwind that we went through. And because everything's happening so fast and all this is going on, I'm thinking I'm okay because I'm self-medicating. And then the crash out happens. And when the crash out happens, I find myself in jail facing 20 years, getting the deal for 3 to 6 and doing 2 years. Me in prison. What? Wearing
Mm-hmm.
some? No, 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 no. Oh yes, oh yes.
It happened. So when did you realize that your struggles was becoming your reality?
It's so tricky because I should have been in recovery. I should have been gotten help. But my rock bottom came when Like, it's okay if you live life on the edge and you don't care where you live or die, living carefree. I get that point. But when I woke up and I wanted to die, when I woke up and I was on my way to Kensington and Allegheny to go to the hot block to get the hot bag that hopefully I don't come back no more, this is when I need help. This is when it's too far. And I don't have no friends. I don't have no family. When I started my recovery journey, I went into my first rehab by myself in 90 days, and one person knew I was there. I didn't talk to anybody. Nobody.
That is powerful, man. So the drugs and the alcohol, it leads to the homelessness. Where are you at with that, man?
So, wow. And this is a part that hurts too. I literally couldn't get a piece of carpet nowhere. Now that is different. When you have friends and family with houses and, extra rooms, basements and everything, and you can't even get a piece of carpet nowhere. So I went to the shelter in Chester and I stayed for one day. When they were feeding them men porridge, not oatmeal, not cream of wheat, porridge. When they was feeding them oodles and noodles with chopped up hot dogs and ground beef, I called my mom and I said, listen, I don't know what can go on with what, but I can't go back in there. I cannot do this. Like, I can't do this part, but I still wouldn't go get help yet. And so I found myself literally nowhere to go, nothing to eat, nothing. Isolated, nothing and no one.
But
I had
God.
to, but literally, but God. Literally, it is me and him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning into this live, you're live with him down each and every Thursday where I'm sitting down with a new small business owner talking shop about what it takes to be successful. Well, tonight I am here with the life testimony of Mr. Jermaine Jones, contestant on American Idol, the rise and the fall of fame, the triumph, the hardships, the homelessness, the drugs, the alcohol, all of those things is being talked to you right here, right now. So please, ladies and gentlemen, put them hearts up. Put them fires up because this man is blessed. Because there's a rise and then there's a fall and then there's a rise again. So we're not going to sit here and we're not going to talk about all the good and all the bad without talking about the good again. Because things, God wasn't done with you, my brother. Even though that you thought that you was, God was not done with you. He said, this is not it. This is not the finale.
And I'm going to tell you, and once I began to do my work, right, because I had narcissistic tendencies, I was angry. So once I began to do my work, and I'm doing the work, right, and it's not, this work right here is not for the weak. Mm-hmm. Okay, this work right here is not for the weak because you have to go to them places and sometimes you have to sit there and you have to sit with that guilt. You have to sit with that shame. You have to sit with that reality, right? And at one point, I took a picture of myself from younger. I took a picture of myself from American Idol and from my addiction era, and then me now. And I looked at the mirror and I was speaking to those people. Like, I was for an hour, I was crying, I might have cussed, and I just went through all of that stuff and I let go of so much, right? I believe that, the adults in my life, they did the best they could with the resources that they had. So, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I just had to start doing my own work. Like, and it took me to a heavy place because it wasn't dark. And because I started having joy, and I used to always want to be happy, but with happy, you have to have something happening. Something has to be going on. Joy is just like, boom, I woke up this morning, I'm grateful, right? Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for the little things now. I look at life from an aspect, from a heart of gratitude, because but for the grace of God, there go I in real life. Because I literally been from Hollywood to homeless, from the church house to the crack house, from the White House to the jailhouse, and everywhere in between. And I've sat at many tables, and had many conversations, and I mean, like, I've lived these things. Like, when I went to jail and I did 2 years in jail, I mean, I'm seeing people getting shanked over oodles and noodles, dead bodies in cells for days. I wasn't touched one time. Nobody put their hands on me. I
Mhm.
wasn't hurt. Even in that, God had his hand on me. When I
Mhm.
was homeless, like, I didn't have to eat out of a dumpster. I wasn't living in Tent City. God still had favor on me. Like, even in my situations when I was in rehab, like, I didn't have to go into a room with all these people. I had my own room, my own bed, a TV. Like, it wasn't so, all of it, like, I still see God, the ram in the bush. Like, and I know that if it was, favor ain't fair, and it's on me, and I'm wanting his favor, and I am not apologetic for it, and I know it. I know it because I've been in so many rooms that I don't qualify to be in, but God qualifies me, and I walk in there with that confidence. And if I'm in here, I'm in here. I'm here, you
Weeping,
here, we here.
weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning.
But see, you got to make it through the night. People give up at the nighttime.
Mhm.
Like, seasons change, everything, like, nothing could stay the same always, right? So what you need to do is you need to do your work, right? To make sure that you are ready when your turn comes around again, that you're ready to receive the full potential of your blessing, right? We limit how God blesses us. He wants to bless us so much that it overflows. But when we're connected to people, places, and things that don't deserve the overflow, you won't get the full potential of your blessing. Break free from that stuff.
Preach, preacher. Preach,
People,
preacher.
places, and things. That's why you're not getting, because he wants it to overflow. But when you have them people under you that don't deserve the overflow, you won't get the full potential. Stop limiting God. Because the same God with the same power from before is the same God with the same power today. It's according to our faith.
My
Period.
God.
And I'm gonna tell you something. No matter in the jail cell, in the crack house, at the liquor store, um, listen. At some point, we probably was praying. I probably was singing, and if it got too bad, I'll go to the rock that is higher than high.
Mhm.
Period.
So my God, you didn't took me on a roller coaster ride, man. You didn't took me from the high. You didn't took me from the low. I'm ready to go back up to the pinnacle. Life for Jermaine Jones today.
Ooh, life with Jermaine Jones today is May 4th. I started my recovery journey. May 4th will be 1 year. Um, God is so good. When I say, so my dream, got a chance to live that, right? But now the joy and the fire I have is because now I have my purpose, right? My dream and my purpose is totally different, right? And don't get me wrong, my dream is going to help along with my purpose, but now I want to start a reentry house, a domestic violence house, a recovery house, and some type of wellness center that has like IOP and things like that because I've tried everything, right? I don't know how much you tried. You tried. When I say I tried crack, I tried cocaine, I tried crystal meth, I tried liquor, I tried sex, I tried people, I tried everything. And what I know worked for me is recovery in Jesus. And that's what I know works for me, right? And it got to a point where I had to break down, and in the program, it teaches you God, right? Good, orderly direction, as simple as that. Right? That's what God is to me today. He gives me my good, orderly direction. The serenity prayer, I live by it. I say it 10 times a day. God, grant me the serenity, the peace, to accept the things that I cannot change. They're going to happen anyway. To have the courage to change the things that I can and the wisdom to know the difference. That is so powerful. I wake up with it every morning. I go to sleep with it, and I will pause. I can start my day over at any time. If I'm having a bad day or a turn, I'm starting over again at 1:15. If 1:14, it was just crazy, I'm going to start over again. I always can pause and restart. And so I'm in this recovery process. I go to an AA meeting with my home group every morning at 9:45 in the morning. I go to like 3 or 4 NA meetings in person with my in-person people. I go to IOP. I do my step work. I work my program.
I love it. I love it. Listen, my guy, I told you how this conversation was going to go, and before we
I
knew it,
know.
how
I
this time
know.
is going to
The
run. So
time. I
we go.
know.
Yep. So I got two more for you before they try to cut us off. You are now an entrepreneur, right? Talk to me a little
Yes.
bit about that.
Okay, so I have my own distribution label through under Sony Orchard where I distribute music. I have that. I have the motivational speaking platform called In the Pursuit of Your Dreams, where I am ready to get into these colleges and these YMCAs and inner city schools and programs like that and talk to these young adults and these youth. So that's called In the Pursuit of Your Dreams, right? Showing them that you don't have to be a product of your environment. You don't have to. You do not have to be what you see, right? So that's that aspect. And then I told you as far as the recovery goes, so like I'm just in a spirit of wanting to give back, wanting to sow into people, wanting to build people up. And whatever that looks like for me financially or with fame or status or whatever the case may be, that's whatever it looks like. But my goal right now is to still help somebody who is still sick and suffering. And that is literally my goal every day I wake up.
Love it, man. I love it. Giving you a hand
Thank
clap,
you so much.
blessings and
Thank
praise,
you.
man. I love everything about this story. Your social media, tell them where they can find you, where they can get in touch with you. Somebody might want to help you. Where can they find you?
Okay, my name is Jermaine Jones, regular on Facebook. On Instagram, it's IAM_J Jones 100. And on TikTok, it is I am J Jones. So Jermaine Jones on all platforms. You can find me under that on anywhere. But those are the handles for TikTok and Instagram. And you can inbox me, reach out if you want to have a conversation, if we can collaborate on something, if you have any community projects going on, if you whatever the people need. I am here to service the people. And I didn't always have a heart of that, but now I have a heart for the people.
So I
Which is
had a past guest maybe about a year and a half ago who also battled some addiction and things like that, and now is also has a nonprofit right out in Woodstown that deals with recovery and helping. I think it's called the Hope for House. So I'm going to connect you with them so that maybe you guys can work
okay.
together and put some things in the mix. My brother, I hope I did your story some justice,
Yes.
man. Your
Thank you so much.
testimony. I hope I was able to you know, help shine some light and also be a part of your recovery by being able to tell your story. So again, I just want to thank you for
Thank
taking the
you.
opportunity to sit down with me and talk with me. And I know we could have went on and on and on, but you know, IG going to shut us off momentarily. So again, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, bro. I love you and I appreciate you. You know you always have my support. We'll talk again. They might get a
Yeah.
part two at some point. Y'all gotta hang tight.
Hey,
You said it was gonna get like this. You
I told
said
you it
it.
was. I told
You
you it
said
was.
it.
Listen, I need one favor, man. I need one favor, and I'm putting you on the spot. I need you to leave the guests with a little tune or something. Give me something.
Um. Okay. Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise. For it was grace that brought my liberty. I do not know just why he came to love me so. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need.
Man, if you know the chills and the goosebumps you just gave me, brother, you are a blessing, man. And we're gonna make sure that this story gets out. Ladies and gentlemen, you
Thank
are live with
you.
Dow each and every Thursday night, man. Make sure you go out and you share this testimony on all these platforms. You'll be able to find it on here on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Jermaine, blessings to you, my
Thank
brother,
you.
man. I wish you nothing but success, continuing to be a blessing in other people's lives, and whatever I can do, I'm here to help.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you. Ladies and
And
gentlemen,
thank
once
you.
again, you're live with Dow each and every Thursday. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Love, peace, and happiness. Good night.